So apparently, there's like a lot of truth out there and so much evidence and proof that I cheated on my husband. Well, the funny thing is I never did that. I don't know what this truth or conspiracy that he's telling me about, but he marched up to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to divorce you because you're a dirty cheater." And I'm like, "Well, show me the evidence, dude." You know what he said? "You won't believe it. I'm literally getting hot flashes right now. This can't happen. My perfect life cannot be imploding out of the blue. There were no warning signs that things could get this bad. I have no explanation for this, but believe me, I'm not to blame. I know someone is behind this, but I don't have any enemies. The only person I could think of who would do this is my husband. But what would he have to gain by framing me for such a big thing? Not to mention that he loves me a lot. He's heartbroken and fuming right now. If this misunderstanding does not just go ahead and get resolved immediately, I'm going to have a serious panic attack. I'm truly holding on to my sanity by a thread. I have to ask you guys what you think. I'm no stranger to this site because I follow the mom communities, as I am a mother of 3. I'm 36 and female. I've not had any serious marital problems in the 15 years that I've been married. My husband and I understand each other and keep our marriage fun at all times. Our 3 beautiful kids are a reflection of that. You know, the home is always filled with happiness and laughter. It's rare for such a dark mood to hang over us. The reason for this is because of what happened this afternoon. A delivery man came with flowers for me, but they did not have a note. I was perplexed as to why my husband would send me flowers with no note, but was appreciative nonetheless. I put the flowers in the vase and went about my day. Less than an hour later, my husband arrived home from work. Before I could thank him for the flowers, I asked what special occasion warranted him coming home early. He showed a piece of paper in my face. I picked it up and was trying to make sense of what was on it when he shouted for me to explain. He asked why I even needed to read what was on the paper when I knew what I had done. I tried to pacify him with a hug, but was stopped in my tracks when he slapped me. Silence ensued after that as we stared at each other. No matter how upset he has ever been, and he's never laid a finger on me, it seemed to shock both of us. I felt tears swelling up in my eyes, but instead of apologizing, he asked why I had to make him do such a thing. Then he started pacing, and as he did so, his face became even more red. I was terrified for myself and started to inch out of the room. He noticed what was going on and told me to stop. He was not going to hit me again. I was not going to make him into that kind of man, no matter how much I had hurt him. I asked what he had even meant. He had just sent me flowers, but now he was scolding me. He scoffed when I mentioned the flowers and said that it was not him that sent the flowers, but he could bet on who it was, the father of my kids. It took a while for me to respond, as I was trying to comprehend what he was saying. I couldn't believe that he had the guts to say something so ridiculous. I reminded him that he was my husband and the father of my kids. He had to snap out of it. If aliens had replaced my husband with this club, then I wanted him back. This man standing in front of me was a stranger. His entire demeanor was off. I was terrified. Suddenly, his mood changed, and he put his face in his hands and sobbed. He asked me what he had not done for me. He loved me and took care of me and our kids. He had been the perfect husband, yet I betrayed him 3 times and had kids with another man. Worst of all, I was ashamed of receiving gifts from that man. He said that when he received the test results, he was shocked. He didn't believe that someone as sweet as me could be so cruel. I got angry and told him to stop spouting nonsense, seeing that the back and forth was going nowhere. I skimmed the piece of paper that he had shoved in my face as I digested the information. My blood ran cold. These were DNA test results stating that my kids were not his. I asked why the hell he went and had the kids tested. He told me that he was actually planning a big surprise. He wanted to get them all gifts based on their interests, and he had seen something cool online that a friend had also done for his family. He says that he stole the DNA because he wanted to surprise them. He has always gone above and beyond with his gifts, so that makes sense. However, he should have let me in on the plan. In addition, he should not have done those tests without my knowledge. These had to be forged. There was no way this was true, unless this was some kind of twisted joke. There was no way those kids were not his. Come on, well, they look like him, and his mannerisms are inside of them. In addition, I have never cheated in my life, like he said. He treats me very well, and there's no need for me to cheat. I told him that I would not accept those results because they were simply made up. In fact, I wanted to see the person who conducted the test and give them a good talking to. He snapped and told me that excuses were not going to save me now. He thought I was different, but I was the stereotypical suburban wife who cheated on her husband while he was at work. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, and he asked who the other man was. The gardener, a friend of his, a complete stranger? He wanted to know the man's name immediately so that he could teach him a lesson. There was no name that I could give him, and I told him just as much, but he didn't listen. We went back and forth over this for hours until the kids came home. I sent them to our neighbor while this happened, and I didn't want them to see us arguing. That was our rule. No matter what, the kids should never hear us raising our voices at each other. I shouted, cried, and tried to speak to him civilly, but he demanded to see the man. Obviously, I could not produce someone who didn't exist. I just wished, all right, that I could help, but I knew nothing. I've never slept with another man since I got into the relationship with him. Eventually, he told me that he could not be in the same room as me, and then he retired to his study. He has not come out of there since. I have no idea what he's thinking of doing, but I'm scared. I've thought of leaving till the dust settles, but that will make me look guilty. I think that I'll suggest that we redo the test tomorrow morning. I think there might have been an error at the lab or something. I don't know what's going on. It's something so simple that can obviously be resolved. But when it is resolved, I don't think that we will ever be the same again. I saw an ugly side of him, an illogical, hurtful side that I hate. Is that what happens when I get on the wrong side of him? Where was this person hiding for the past 15 years? What if he's losing his mind? This can be only one explanation for the drama that happened today. If he's losing his mind, then I'll be there for him every step of the way. I'll love him no less than I love him already. I just need to know what's going on because I can't sleep. All I can do is toss and turn, which does not help at all. I do feel a bit better now that I've told someone about this. I hope that she'll be able to help me because I have no idea where to go next. I'm hoping this is a big misunderstanding that will not turn into an even bigger issue. This is definitely not how I thought the day was going to go. Update number 1. 3 days later, I'm ruined. I don't want to carry on anymore. And if it were not for my kids, I would just give up. My luck has run out. It was too good for me to find a good man to get married to, who loved and respected me. It was also too much for us to be a happy family with our kids. You see, he's kicked me out and filed for a divorce just like that. My marriage is over, and worst of all, I can't show my face in town. Everyone knows what happened, and they're disgusted. I feel so hopeless, and I can't even think straight before I have a panic attack and go off on a tangent about how I feel. I just need to tell you exactly what happened in the past 3 days. The morning after we got into a fight over the test results, I told him that we had to get retested. I refused to accept such a nonsense lie. I got the name of the place, and he got the results, and we all made our way there. I was fuming when I got there, asking how they could be so incompetent. We could have gone to another place, but I had no money to pay for more. He told me that it was either that place or I involved the law. I should have fought harder to have them tested where I wanted, but I was so confused and sleep-deprived. Everything after we got there happened in a blur. I only came to the next morning when we got the test results, which said the same thing. Even I was baffled. We had actually done the testing twice, and they yielded the same result, but how? When I never cheated, I felt that somebody was messing with the test results. I really do. I asked who else knew about the test, but he didn't respond. In fact, he wanted to hear nothing that I had to say. All he wanted was for me to pack my things, take my kids, and leave. I had to pack my things while fighting back tears because, worst of all, I had to lie to them about why we were leaving. I wanted to tell them that we're separating, but not yet. I wanted to prolong the conversation. Honestly, I'm so disappointed in the way that he has treated me. Something is fishy, and I'm starting to suspect that he is the one doing it. If this is a prank, it has to go down as the worst in history. I don't know what to think. I don't even have time to think because my family and all my friends know what happened, and they're asking me questions I don't have the answers to. I'll admit that I'm very embarrassed, even though I did nothing wrong. I know there's something that I'm missing, but right now I'm stressing about money. Yeah, that's right. I have some savings to last us for a few weeks, but I need money. If he does not come to his senses, then I'm going to have to figure out a way to support us one way or the other. Update number 2. A month later, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did not think of this. Of course, now it makes sense. It was all a conspiracy, and I fell for it. He could not even wait until we got divorced. Talk about celebrating too early. He must think that I'm as dumb as rocks. He's going to wish that he never messed with me. I don't play, especially when my kids have their emotions hurt. Can you believe the nerve of that man? Turns out he has already moved on. Except I don't think his girlfriend is new. It's too convenient. I found out that he was dating her when I so happened to see one of her stories online. I would recognize his tattoo anywhere. She took a picture of their hands together and captioned it. Where have you been all my life? Where has he been with his wife and kids? I wanted to send that response, but I stopped myself. Whether she did that intentionally or not, I had to be tactful. I took a screenshot and investigated some more, and it appeared that they were on the download, but she was absolutely careless about posting him. She also made some ambiguous posts around the time of our separation, which made me think that they had been having an affair. What if he faked those results to get out of having to take care of our kids? Maybe he wanted to start over with her. I mean, either way, I didn't care and I wanted to get another test done. I knew that he would not agree, so I went straight to the judge. My ex argued that the 2 tests have already been done, and that proved how disloyal I was. But I argued that they were done at a small facility. If there were testing errors, they were more likely to happen at the same place twice than at 2 different places. Luckily, the judge saw a reason and allowed for the test to be conducted. The panic on his face when the judge gave the order made me even more suspicious of his guilt. I couldn't believe how cowardly he was being. How I had married such a selfish man and not seen it for 15 years was a shock. It was a good thing I saw the real him before I spent all of my life with him. He is less of a coward, and best believe that when the test results are returned, I'll take him for everything that he has. See, I quit my career to take care of our kids and be a good wife to them, and this is how he thanks me. I can't believe that he wants to abandon us and take no responsibility. His cheating stings, but the way he's denying our kids hurts the most. Our kids have done nothing to him for him to treat them like rubbish. I hate the man that I'm married with everything I have right now. By the way, his little affair partner is an acquaintance of mine. We had mutual friends, but have never run in the same circles. She was always so nice to me when we interacted, while she was stabbing me in the back. Well, I can't believe that he was doing this right under my nose, and I suspected nothing. I guess I couldn't have seen anything, because I had to take care of the kids and the household. Worst of all, the youngest had just become a toddler and is an absolute menace. My hands are always full, and I still have to keep the relationship alive. I have no idea why he felt that he had to seek more. What I read online was that sometimes a person will cheat just because it's crazy to think of how you can just wake up and decide to betray your life partner. It can literally happen to anyone. I've been driving myself crazy with these theories, but I can't ask him about it yet. I have to wait until we're in court, where I'll still expose him for the affair. I'm going to use that to milk him dry. You know, there was no way that me and my kids were going to starve because of him. My savings are running out, and a lawyer is not cheap. He knows that, and he doesn't care. He does not wonder what his kids have eaten. It's not my problem, just as it's always been. I just never saw it because I was blinded by the minimal he does now. I see the truth, and it's ugly. Update number 3 2 months later. Hey guys, it's me. Well, I have to tell you, I said that I would take him to pay, and of course I delivered on my promise. My children's tears were not for nothing. Do you know that the rumors about the paternity even reached their school? I had no way of explaining everything to them because I too did not understand. I felt like the most useless mother in the world when their dad ignored their messages. I had to be the one to comfort them. It was so emotionally draining, and I do not wish such a thing on anyone. I promised myself that I would make sure the truth came out for their sake. I was also going to make sure that whoever was involved would repent. I delivered on my promise as I expected. The test results proved that the kids were fathered by my ex-husband. The test was conducted at a much more reputable clinic this time, thank goodness. As for the clinic that gave the false results, they were put under fire. Baby, that's right. And eventually, they produced the doctor who gave the fake results. Under 2 minutes, he cracked and revealed that he had been paid to do it. To my shock, he said it was actually my husband's mistress who had paid him. I've been planning to reveal the relationship shortly after, so it worked out fine. My lawyer saw the perfect opportunity and presented their relationship right then and there. This gave me the motivation to change the results. She wanted me and my kids out of the way so that she could start over with my hubby. The worst part is that he probably knew and aided her, from the flowers to the DNA test. I realized that it was a perfectly crafted plan, designed to take away everything I worked for. What she had done was beyond the scope of our divorce case, so it had to be a separate court case. And we're currently in the middle of that case. The doctor she paid has spoken up against her and even presented evidence of their dealings. Turns out, she helped him get a job at that clinic months ago after he got fired from his last. Months later, she called in a favor, and he could not say no. Well, guys, when it actually went and turned out that I wanted to retest, he had to make sure that the results were consistent, and he thought everything had gone well and would not backfire on him. But then, the testing station was put under investigation, which put him in the spotlight. He was very cooperative, maybe hoping that his medical license would not be revoked. I hope that they were going to revoke it because my kids suffered too much because of him. What do you guys think? Update number 4. Oh boy, I love how the tables have turned. I was once begging my husband not to divorce me. Now he's begging me to take him back because life does not make sense to him. It seems all that freedom he had after getting rid of me was just not enough. You know what I have to say when it comes to that? Hell no, I'm never going to take him back because my life is greater without him. I'm so much happier and healthier without him. He must go back to the love of his life. But wait, she's in jail. That's right, justice was served, and my ex-husband's mistress was found guilty of tampering with results. In addition to that, the doctor she convinced to help her was stripped of his medical license. I know this is shortage of doctors these days, but hey, the world is simply better off without that kind of doctor. Turned out he lost his previous job after being linked to malpractice. Luckily for him, they did not have enough evidence against him and offered him the opportunity to quit. I'd say, unfortunately for me, that decision cost me my marriage. My ex's mistress was sentenced to a 15-year bid in prison for what she did. Apparently, it was a very serious crime to fake medical results and also to bribe someone as she did. The doctor walked away with only a scratch while she had to bear the brunt of the punishment. She probably thought that they would pin everything on her. Well, I want to see her a couple of days after the sentencing because I had a very important question for her. Yep, I want to know why she did what she did. I know I did not have to keep on rehashing the past like that, but alas, I'm only human, and I will always need answers. To my surprise, she was willing to talk and actually brag about what happened. She told me that my husband caught her, and a year ago, it appeared the interest was mutual, and they started to date. He thought that I was actually good friends with her, and she used that to her advantage. She even went on to claim that I did not really love her and that I loved somebody else. He really thought that I was the one cheating. She pointed him to the testing center where he got the false results, just like that. So yeah, it turns out he actually thought the kids were not his. She has no idea if he figured that out in the end, but he still carried on with their relationship. She told me that they were still sending each other letters and visiting. As she said this, she was very smug and happy with herself, knowing they were still in contact. It did not bother me. They deserved each other. However, they were also the matter of him leaving me multiple messages, begging for me to take him back. I decided not to tell her and to allow her to drown in her delusion, since I now had the answer. BL my ex everywhere, and I have been avoiding him. Apparently, these days he's a mess and has resorted to alcohol to numb the pain. I don't feel sorry for him in any sort of way. If I'm being honest, he made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. If he drinks himself to the bottom, I'm not going to be the one to save him.